What's up, everyone? It's TheKingOfRuckus, and I haven't done a video for a while, so I figured I'd do a quick video on the Season 3 finale of The Walking Dead. If you haven't seen the episode yet, click out, come back later after you've seen it, because I'll be talking about most or all of the major events that happened in this episode. And I liked the episode. I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite of the season. I think my favorite of the season will either be Clear or The Sorrowful Life. It's the episodes with Morgan and Merle, respectively. Those were by far my two favorite episodes of the season, so it's kind of a toss-up between the two. I had some predictions for the season finale. I figured we'd lose at least one major character. I had 6 names. They were Maggie, Andrea, Herschel, Carol, Beth, and Milton. And we actually lost Andrea and Milton, both in the same room, both because of the governor, obviously. A lot of people didn't like the Andrea character anymore. As I mentioned a couple of videos ago, there were actually death threats against Laurie Holden because Andrea shot Daryl in a fucking TV show. And I guess people are so fucking stupid. But yeah, that was just one of the reasons. That and her character arc this season really hasn't been the best. Like, she's been making some really dumb decisions. And they tried to justify them by having her say that she wanted everyone to survive. She was kind of hoping that the governor would turn things around, but, you know, just looking at this dude, looking at what he's done, at the actions he's done, he was irredeemable a long time ago. And she had the chance to get away from him, and she went back to him, and it really didn't make sense. I think that was one of the main reasons that people were tired of her character. She was just doing things that didn't make sense. And you're in the situation, that whole zombie situation, it's like, you gotta make smarter decisions than that. Like, if you're watching someone do something that stupid, you get tired of them. You kind of hope they get killed off. So now that she's been killed off, I don't think too many people are gonna have much remorse for her. I've already got people on my Twitter timeline saying, "Rest in peace, Andrea," said by nobody. I think that was Breezy TV who said that. Brits Kazama who said that shit. And it's true. Like, no one's really gonna mourn the loss of this character. Like, I didn't want to see her character get killed off, but at the same time, I can't say I care much. I mean, they painted her into a corner. Like, she's not gonna bring anything to the show. Like, if Daryl died, or Rick, Carl, even Carol. If Carol died, it would bring some sense of loss to the show. It would be like, you know, you could justify any one of those characters. Like, you could justify keeping any one of those characters. But Andrea, she's no longer with the group, and she was just doing stupid shit. So it was like, if she lived, unless she had some major arc the next season, people would have still been pissed off by her. So I guess having Milton kill her off was probably the best way to go. You know, no disrespect to Laurie Holden. She's a really good actress. It's just that her character was painted into a corner, and, you know, really wasn't bringing anything more to the show. Like, now she's gone, people aren't really gonna care. Sorry. Sorry. Milton was just starting to get interesting, and, you know, it would have been nice to see where that character would have gone, you know, what he would have brought to the team if he had been able to stay. But I think he's signed to do some other show or some pilot or something. Someone mentioned that to me on a forum I go to. So, you know, with that said, that was a major indicator that Milton wouldn't be back next season. The only other people that got killed off were, like, the residents of Woodbury. Like, a bunch of them went with the governor to try and take over the prison. Thankfully, Rick and everybody set up a decent enough trap to where they weren't able to do it. They were able to fight them off. And at that point, they're running away. They're heading back to Woodbury, and they tell the governor, like, the governor basically, he's driving up alongside them. He cuts off the car, and he's like, "Yo, where are you guys going?" They're like, "We don't want to do this. We can't do this." And he just guns them all down. The governor just guns them all down. Even Martinez and random black dude. I don't know the guy's name. I'll just call him random black dude. Even they were looking at this like, damn, what the fuck is this guy doing? And you wonder, like, why they don't take him out. And then the conclusion I came to was that he's just pure evil, and they're afraid of him. They're just afraid to take him out. They're afraid to try and take a shot at him. There's also the possibility that they've seen him do shit similar to this. Maybe not as bad, but close to it. And they feel kind of complicit. I'm laughing, but then he just gets in the van, and he's like, yo, come on. He doesn't say, yo, come on, like I said. He kind of motions for them to come with him. And they go to parts unknown. They go on the most hellacious road trip that we'll never see. Later in the episode, you know, thankfully Tyrese and his wife don't get gunned down. They actually side with Rick and everybody like they should have earlier. Or they would have if Rick didn't flip out earlier in the season. And instead of taking over Woodbury, or at least going on a supply run, they bring all the residents back to the prison. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, on some level, it'll help Carl, because Carl, while he's a fucking little G and shit, he is basically becoming really jaded. He's at the point now where, like, he'll just shoot whoever. Especially if they try to shoot at him first. Like, he won't look into the reasoning behind it. You can justify him taking out the kid that him and Herschel ran into in the woods. This guy even had a silencer on his gun. I just remember that. Where did he get his... He had a little makeshift silencer. Carl is just a fucking beast at this point. But as I was saying, you can justify him taking out that person they ran into in the woods. But at the same time, he didn't have to do it. You can't really fault him for doing it, because that person had just been trying to kill everyone in the prison. But, you know, at the same time, he could have maybe handled that better. The person was clearly going to put his gun down, and he was no threat at that point. He was no threat. They could have talked to him. They could have handled that situation a bit differently. So now, Rick bringing civilization to Carl in a way, bringing all these people from Woodbury there for him to interact with, to get some semblance of life before this zombie apocalypse happened. Well, it'll help Carl start to enjoy life again. I don't think the kid really is enjoying life anymore. He's been forced to grow up pretty fast. This might help him start to enjoy life, at least for a little while. I like this season a lot better than I like season 2, so I'm really looking forward to season 4. Glenn Mazzara, he won't be back as showrunner, but they're handing the reins over to Scott Gimple, and he was supervising producer for 14 episodes this season, so he'll have a good idea of where the show should go next season. I think next season will be pretty good. I'm not really too worried about it. That's going to be it for this video, but I really want to know what you guys thought of the season 3 finale. Were you disappointed with it? Do you think it held up to the rest of the season? Does it have you looking forward more to season 4, or are you thinking that this show has already jumped the shark? That's something I've been reading a lot online. I'm pretty surprised by that. But that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.